just need to check this item to see what sort of furnace output there should be. So if this is the uncooked meat, the uncooked meat will have some sort of value attached to it. This here, 50 ticks need to go by before this can be crafted. So how many ticks have passed? Maybe it's only 25, you're halfway there. When this hits 50, that's when we know to remove this item, or reduce the quantity, I guess, and then add some kind of output. So this is going to be a bit different. Current output items has to be there needs to be a way of handling more than one item. So again, item, some output item, data class, item, item ID, quantities, we're just slapping a number again. And then that's probably it for that one, but the point here is that you can have multiple of these. So is this got to be maybe an array? An array of objects here. So this would just be a different one, like a different item. So the point of this setup would be, if you want to pass in a weapon, and the output should be maybe iron and also someone else, maybe a different type of metal, maybe mithril and iron because you've smelted this crazy good weapon, then you should be able to have multiple outputs rather than just a single output. So I think that's a good way of doing it. So here's the plan. I'm going to comment this out so it doesn't just break everything. What's going on here? What did I break? Functions? Oh god, what have I done? I've really broken something. I'll copy this just in case. It's probably just that there. That maybe just needs to be... Okay, okay. Hmm. What have I done? Oh, maybe it's just the window. Maybe there's not... maybe I didn't have like some kind of close for the window. No, that doesn't make sense. Ah, that doesn't need one. Window should be fine just the way it is. That should be fine. Oh, there wasn't a close there. Okay, looks like it's fixed again. So where does that leave me? The item list on select. Is there some kind of on select? Maybe that's in the scene actually. Item window, here we go, the handler. On, on OK. On item OK. There it is. What does this do? This dot item, let's just see what happens if we get rid of that. Oh, so now if we click on something, it should probably just tell us what it is rather than breaking. Okay, ID 2, coal. Okay, it's still going into some kind of freeze mode. So what do we want it to do when we click on it? Is there a way to see the category? Is there category window? Current symbol? Let's try current symbol. I don't know what this, if this is available to us from here, but let's try. Because that would be nice. It means we can just check what category we're on. Okay, cool. Fuel. So we'll just say, I'll maybe just get a better version of this because I don't want to have to keep typing that out. So there we go. If category is equal to fuel, then do one lot of something. This dot fuel, maybe select fuel. And I want to make this its own function or method because the the code might get complicated and I'd rather have it more readable and by having different functions that you just check what the function's doing rather than having a whole page full just for one function and you don't really know what's happening where. Okay, it should probably be lowercase to match the rest. Select fuel and there will be some kind of item that has been selected. And I'll just slap a little return there just so we don't ever progress through and something happens we don't expect it to. So right now, we should have some way of getting the furnace we're working with. So let's also make functions for that to make it really easy. Get furnace data. We don't really need to pass anything into that because we already have a save of the ID. So let's just go return furnace data dot furnaces and then this furnace ID. So by making this function, we can access the furnace data attached to this furnace without having to keep writing this all out. So we can just do get furnace data and then just add something to it here. I don't know if we need this right now, but it's good to have it. Let's see. Out. Eesh. So upon initialize, when we hit this window, we need to initialize some data because there's every possibility, like right now, that when we first open this window, this will be a new ID we haven't seen before, and so there'll be no data. And then if there's no data and you try and access it, it'll throw an error. So we'll do initialize this dot initialize furnace data. So we need to do furnace data dot furnaces some kind of ID equals an empty object, and this will be this furnace ID. So there we've set up a furnace, so now we can do this dot get furnace data. How do we add to this? Let's see. Current fuel level. So I think it's just like this. Current fuel level. You know, let's. I hope we can do it this way. I'm gonna try saving this in a variable. Equals this dot get furnace data, because then it means we can just do furnace data and then that input input item. I guess we don't really need current in front of all these because it's pretty self-explanatory already. So we'll just say fuel level input item equals item, and then we'll pass in null. Data class is going to be, maybe I should be using undefined. No, because we are setting it. I guess if you're setting it, it should be null, and if it just doesn't exist, it should be undefined. Item ID, quantity, current progress, so maybe just progress then. No ticks. Furnace data, output items equals an array, and anytime we add an output item, we'll just have to push into the array. You know what, I should probably keep it all the same, just make it an object. Nah, I don't like that. Let's make it an array. Okay, so we've got some actual data to work with now. So where we said select fuel, we need to if the new fuel type is the same as the existing fuel type, just remove the item from the inventory and add 1 to the fuel quantity. Oh, that's what I've not got. I've not got a fuel thing. Oh no, I do. I just didn't add it. There we go. Current fuel item. So fuel item needs to be in here as well. So it's going to be null, null, quantity, 0. And there is no progress for this because I'm just going to say if there is an item in the input slot and there is something in the fuel slot, it will immediately just start burning the fuel slot. So by that I mean we will reduce the quantity here by 1. We will increase the fuel level by whatever the fuel input is from the fuel item. And then it will just start burning down until it's depleted. Then, once it's depleted, if there's still an input item and there is still a fuel item, it will do the same again. It will take 1 out of the quantity and add it to the fuel level. But if there's no input item and there is fuel, I don't want the player to be punished by it just burning through all of the resources, so it's just going to not re-up. So there we go. Just remove the item from the inventory and add 1 to the fuel quantity. If the new fuel is different, attempt to return any current fuel items back to the inventory. Then update the fuel item to reflect the new item. If item is equal to, we're going to need to get the furnace data. So let furnace data. Oh, I see what. I hope that by doing this, you're getting a reference to the furnace data and not just the value, because that'd be annoying. So furnace data equals this dot get furnace data, and then if the item is equal to furnace data fuel item dot item, then we will have to what is it, game party dot lose item, something like that. Let's see what I did in the other bit of code. Yeah, game party, lose item, that, nice. And then add 1 to the quantity, so that'll be furnace data, fuel item, and then refresh the item window. Item window, I wonder if I do need to do that here. This dot item window dot refresh. And also probably have to select. I'm not sure if this just means select last. I hope it just means select whatever you were on. Let's see. So if I click on this, okay, it seems to have done nothing again. So do I need to activate again? This dot item window dot activate and then select last. Still not playing ball. I wonder why. Select fuel. If the item, oh hold on, that's if the item is equal. So what if the item is not equal? Then it just does nothing and breaks. Okay. Okay, so if we can assume the items are different now. So we will first check if something exists in furnace data fuel item. If the item does not equal null, then we will attempt to return any number of quantity back to the inventory. Gain item, and it's going to be whatever that item is. Furnace data fuel item dot item, and the quantity is just going to be the fuel item dot quantity. And then we have to remove or erase or reset. Let's make a nice function for that. Reset fuel item. So we will just grab this again. Furnace data fuel item. Reset. Okay, so if we just do that, and that means I can just use this in place of the typed out version. Probably do the same for input item, reset input item to null.